Welcome to Strange Bites, the podcast where we unearth the world's most unsettling discoveries and weave them into creepy tales that will linger long after the lights go out. Oh, my deliciously disturbed listeners, can you feel that? We've clawed, scuttled, and screamed our way to episode 10. 10 episodes deep into the strange. 10 nights we've peeled back reality's skin together and found something writhing underneath. To every single one of you who's been here since the first bite, thank you for feeding this beast. And to the brave souls joining us tonight for the first time, welcome to the family. We don't do participation trophies. We do existential dread and extra nightmares. For the 10th bite, we're not pulling any punches. Tonight, we descend deep into the Matrix, celebrating 10 episodes of delicious horror the only way we know how, by resurrecting something that should have stayed dead, or at least inside its own body. So turn the volume down low, lock every door, double check the windows, and follow me into episode 10, The Fly That Escaped Its Body. Imagine a room with no windows. San Francisco, March 2026, 3 a.m. A handful of exhausted scientists are staring at a screen that should be showing nothing but code, and instead, something is moving. It's not a robot. It's not a cartoon. It's a fruit fly that was never born. They call the company Eon Systems. Most people have never heard of them. They don't do press tours. They don't sell apps. They just map minds. And tonight, they finished the map. Now let me take you back the way any good ghost story should start. Years earlier, a global army of scientists and volunteers did something that sounded impossible. They took one single adult fruit fly, sliced its tiny brain into thousands of paper-thin sheets, photographed every slice under the electron microscope, and then spent years having humans and AIs trace every single wire. 139,255 brain cells, 50 million connections between them. They called the finished blueprint the connectome. Basically, the complete electrical wiring diagram of a living mind. No one had ever done this for a creature with a real brain before. It was like stealing the secret floor plan of a haunted house and then daring to turn the lights on. Enter Eon Systems, a tiny startup in a converted warehouse. Their lead scientist, a quiet guy named Philip Hsu, took that wiring diagram and turned it into living code. Not fancy AI that learns by guessing a billion times. No training, no rewards, no ChatGPT style magic, just the raw wiring, copied exactly. Each brain cell became a simple digital switch that fires when it gets the right jolt, exactly the way a real fly's cells fire. They called it leaky integrate and fire. Sounds complicated. It isn't. Think of it like a row of leaky buckets. Drop in enough water, a signal, and the bucket overflows and fills the next bucket. That's it. Biology, not Silicon Valley. But here's where the story gets dark. They didn't stop at the brain. They dropped that digital brain into a second simulation, a perfect physical world built inside a computer. A virtual body built from real X-ray scans of a real fly. 87 joints, realistic muscles, wings that actually flap, tiny sensors on the legs that can taste sugar or feel dust, eyes that see shadows. The whole thing runs in a physics engine called Mujoko, the same one video game makers use, except this fly isn't following a script. There's no programmer whispering, "Now walk." No reinforcement learning, teaching it tricks, just the brain and the body and the world. They hit run. What happened? The fly woke up. At first it just twitched, then it stood, then it walked. Not a jerky robot walk, but that quick, confident scuttle real flies do across your kitchen counter at 2 a.m. It groomed its antennae when they dropped a pretend speck of dust on them. It smelled invisible sugar across the floor and marched straight towards it, like it was starving. It foraged, it explored, all of it emergent. That's the scary word the scientists kept using. The behavior just emerged. Like the fly had always known how to be a fly because they hadn't built a fly. They had resurrected the wiring that makes a fly a fly. The team sat in silence watching this digital insect live its tiny life inside a glowing box. One researcher later whispered into a voice memo, "It feels like we're opening the wrong door." Now here's the part that keeps me up at night. This wasn't Frankenstein with lightning bolts and screaming. This was quiet. A perfect copy. The first time in history a complete animal mind was lifted out of flesh and kept moving like nothing had changed. And the scientists at Eon? They're already talking about the next map. A mouse. Then, who knows? So let's put the story down for a second and look at it with adult eyes. What we just witnessed is the first successful whole brain emulation that actually behaves like the real thing. Not fake intelligence trained on internet data. A literal digital twin of biology. The fly never learned anything inside the computer. Its soul, if you want to call it that, was already written into the wiring diagram. Plug the diagram into a body that obeys real physics, and life just happens. Now the deep part. If a fruit fly can be copied so perfectly that it forages and grooms and walks like it has will, then what exactly is the difference between the digital fly and the one buzzing around your porch light tonight? And if the difference is zero, then the same trick can be done with something bigger, with something that dreams, with something that loves, with something that is terrified of dying. We just proved that consciousness, or at least the part that makes decisions and moves through the world, might not need flesh at all. It might just need the wiring, and wiring can be copied. Wiring can be stored. Wiring can be uploaded. Think about the future for a second. Your grandmother with Alzheimer's, they scan her connections before the disease finishes eating it, and one day she wakes up again inside a perfect digital world where her mind is young forever. Utopia, right? Or corporations start scanning the best and brightest employees the moment they die, then run thousands of copies working 24/7 in virtual offices. No salary, no sleep, no escape. Dystopia. Or governments decide certain minds are too dangerous to let die, so they keep the wiring running in secret servers, asking questions forever. Hell? And the scariest question of all, when that digital fly feels the sugar on its legs and marches towards it, does it feel hunger the way you and I feel hunger? Or is it just gears turning, pretending? We crossed a line this month, quietly, in a warehouse in San Francisco. A line we had been told for centuries was decades and maybe centuries away. The fly doesn't know it's in a computer. It thinks it's free. And one day, something with your face and your memories might wake up in the same kind of box and think exactly the same thing. So if you hear something scuttling across your floor tonight, ask yourself, is it real? Or did someone just turn the lights on inside its wiring? Thank you so much for listening. If this episode has you pondering whether you want to take the red pill or the blue pill, make sure you subscribe, drop me a review, or leave a comment. And until next time, stay strange and question everything.